Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a video talking about situationships, so like friends with benefits, together, not together, boys kind of talk. I'd asked on my Instagram if you guys wanted to see a video on this because I get a lot of questions all the time from girls asking about this kind of thing, about I'm seeing a boy but we're not together, and I have a few experiences with this, so I thought I would do a video about it. And I said I had a story time about a guy that I was with not that long ago, so it's kind of an interesting story. It's kind of dramatic, so I'll tell you that one through the video. I'm just gonna run you through my dating history, I guess. Well, my experiences with friends with benefits. I got my first boyfriend when I was 15 years old, so I was in high school. We both went to the same high school, so we started going out, and we were going out for about a year and a half. So like I lost my virginity to him. Like we were together in high school up until when I started college. So that was like my first main relationship. So like when I was in high school, everyone was talking to other boys and stuff, but I never really had that much attention from boys when I was in high school. And then I went to college, and my first year of college I didn't really speak to anyone. Like no one was interested in me, and I wasn't that bothered about boys either. So I did my own thing in college, and then when I was in my second year of college I started talking to a boy who did he did performing arts and I did musical theatre. I was about 17 years old. We started talking, and it was like my first, because when I was with my boyfriend when I was about 15, 16, it was like one of them relationships you have when you're a kid. It wasn't like a real adult relationship. So when I started talking to this boy when I was like 17, we would like go on dates, like we'd go to the cinema, go out for food and stuff, and it was kind of at that stage where we were like young adults and like going through that bit before we turned into like adults. I was very naive at the time to a lot of things, especially to do with boys, because I really hadn't had any experience with men. I only had my boyfriend when I was like 16, and mine and his relationship, I'm the one that actually ended our relationship. I didn't really like, well at the time I thought I loved him, but I was like, I don't love you anymore. And so we sort of ended on mutual terms. So I'd never had like a heartbreak before. So then when I started seeing this boy, when I was 17, it was all brand new to me. So, and especially because as a younger girl, I had never had attention from boys. I'd never had attention from boys at that age, even though all my friends had. And even though I was like friends with loads of boys, I never had like boys hadn't been romantically interested in me. At the time, it didn't really bother me that much. So then I started seeing this boy in college, and things were going great. We were seeing each other for a few months, and then we ended up getting into a friends with benefits situation. And that was like my first time I'd ever been in a situation like that, because obviously I'd only ever had sex with my first boyfriend when I was younger, and then this was like my second partner. So I'd entered this relationship not really knowing what a friends with benefits was, but I just remember after the first time that we had sex, he was like, so like what are we like, friends with benefits, are we this, are we that? And I was just like, yeah, I guess so, because I didn't really know anything about that. We basically entered this friends with benefits situation, and I was like, but I was so naive to the situation and young, I didn't know anything about boys or anything about heartbreak or anything like that. So we were in this friends with benefits, but we would like text all day every day. Like we'd go out to the cinema, we'd go out for food, like we'd do all these things together, things that you would do in a relationship, but there was no commitment to each other. Basically we had all the same friends because we all did performing arts, so we were always all together all the time, and all my friends will know who I'm talking about, because basically I fell in love with him, you could say, but it was unrequited love because he didn't feel the same about me back. Like looking back, I can now see that obviously I was just there. Like he was a young boy and I was willing to sleep with him. And yeah, I think with girls as well, it's really easy for our emotions to get the better of us and take us away somewhere, because I think for men, and especially younger boys, it's easier for them to just detach sex from emotions, whereas women, sex and emotions are very closely linked, and we find it difficult to separate the two. So especially when I was like 17, I didn't know anything about that, so I heavily tied, every time I slept with him, my emotions, I would be start liking him more. I just got in this vicious cycle of sleeping with him, and then we'd have an argument, and then we'd sleep together again, and it just became this massive snowball of shit. I really liked him, and he didn't really feel the same about me, but at that time I didn't have enough self-respect to walk away from the situation and be like, he's like not treating you how you should be treated. But obviously I was so young, and I think due to a lot of issues that I had with my self-esteem and how I viewed myself, I didn't like myself. So I thought, well, if me and him aren't together, then no one else is gonna like me, because I genuinely felt like no one liked me, like just because of how I looked. And definitely I had a lot of body image issues due to like my size, and because I thought, well, no one likes bigger girls, like, so I just basically put up with how he treated me, because I thought, well, no one else is gonna like me, which you should never ever let anyone treat you like shit just because you think that no one else treat you better, because it's not true. Me and him was in this situation for about, it was probably a good 7-8 months, and then I started university and everything, and yeah, that was like my first huge heartbreak, a massive lesson, and my first like friends with benefits situation. After that I was like really heartbroken, and I think especially because he didn't like me how I liked him, I then got I got more issues with how I perceive myself, because I thought, well, he doesn't like me, so there must be something wrong with me. So then I was looking in the mirror like, I'm ugly and I'm fat and I'm not good enough. I felt a really big sense of I'm not good enough, because I wasn't like, so if he started dating another girl, I would think, well, what does she have that I don't have? So I started feeling really beating myself down about how I looked. Yeah, so then I had a lot of those issues to deal with, and then I went to university, and then when I got to university, there was like so many more boys that were interested in me that I'd never ever experienced before, because obviously I hadn't been going out. So then when I started going out and meeting new people, there was way more people that were interested in me, but I still had those issues with how I viewed myself. So that was my first friends with benefits experience, and it was definitely a massive learning curve for me, and it has definitely impacted all the other relationships and my experiences with boys since then. It has affected like how I've dealt with boys since then, because I had this massive feeling of inadequacy, like I wasn't good enough to be with someone, and like every time I got with someone I'd just think, well, I think I was searching a lot for love and affection through men when I should have actually been looking for that within myself. So that was like a tough period in my life. Since then I hadn't really had another like friends with benefits situation. I just like did my own thing, and I'd meet boys, and if we got on and whatever, and we'd just be talking and stuff, but I didn't really have like a relationship. About a year and a half ago, I met a boy on a night out, and we just hit it off straight away. We got on really well, and it was in a stage of my life, I'd just come back from, I've been in London for like two and a half months over the summer because I was working, and then I'd just come back home. We started seeing each other, and at the start we didn't really declare what was going on, like if it was like heading towards a relationship or we were just friends or whatever. So we started this situation. We basically said like, we're gonna be friends with benefits, whatever. And this situation actually went on for like a year, about a year, which is like the longest I had gone with, I suppose, like not committed to one another, not being boyfriend and girlfriend. We started this and it was great. Like me and him built a really good friendship, and all my friends were like, how can you two be together, like, and not, like, how can you not catch feelings for him, and like when you're not boyfriend and girlfriend? And I think for me, I was at a stage in my life where I was in my final year of university, so I was trying to focus on uni and getting that done rather than focus on like boys and stuff. And I think especially because I had been hurt in the past, I was definitely a lot more cautious going into this situation, and I didn't want a repeat of what had happened in the past. So I was a lot more clued up when going into this situation than I was when I was younger. So it was a lot easier to enter the situation because I already knew what I was getting myself in for, sort of. So I was a lot more chilled out about it, and I knew that obviously he's not my boyfriend, so I don't really have any say over anything that he does or anything that happens. It was actually a really good friends with benefits situation that we were in. It was just that how it ended, which was kind of messy. So me and him, we ended up becoming really good friends. Like we spoke every day over text, and I'd see him like probably like once a week or so, and we ended up being like, other than obviously the sexual side of it, we ended up being really good friends. We had a good situation, but I think some of the times I would let him speak to me like, not like shit, but definitely speak to me in like a patronising way about certain things. I think that definitely was because of some of the issues that I still had regarding my first friends with benefits situation. So like, I think I let certain things pass when I should have brought them up if he spoke to me a certain way, because I felt like, more so for convenience sake, because I thought, well, I don't want to have to go into another one of these situations, or I thought, where am I going to find someone that I can have this kind of situation with? Sometimes you can become too comfortable with someone, and especially if you have issues with yourself, you can let them talk to you like shit or treat you like shit because you think, well, who else am I going to be with? Like, there's no one else that wants to be with me, which is so wrong. That you should never let someone think that they can speak to you like that because of your own self-esteem and how you view yourself. So we were doing this and everything was great. We did that for about a year. So let's cut the story short. So like August of this last year, I went around to his house one night and he had said to me that someone at work had asked him if he had a girlfriend, and he had said yes, because he wasn't interested in seeing anyone else, and he just wanted to see me, and he's really not bothered about sleeping with anyone else or seeing anyone else. So I was like, okay, because I mean, he didn't really have to tell me that information, because at the end of the day, we aren't committed to one another, like we aren't together, so you don't have to be telling me that you just want to see me. So and then I was confused, because I was like, well, does he want a relationship? Or like, what do you want from telling me that? Because I think obviously women read into these things a lot. So especially if you have a connection with someone, and obviously by this point, me and him have been seeing each other for like a good 10 months, so maybe 11 months. So when he said that, I was reading into it like, well, what does he want? Because he didn't have to tell me that information. So I was just sat on it and I was like, okay. And then a few weeks later, I went on holiday with my mum, and it was Freshers Week. And obviously everyone, if you're at uni, everyone goes out in Freshers Week. I basically said to him, before he went out, because we sort of had like a jokey relationship, and I said to him, oh, are you going out this week? And he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go out tomorrow. So then I said to him, all right, well, have a good time. Make sure you use a condom. As like a joke. Also to try and see like if his response, like if he was actually sleeping with other people. So I said that, and then he sort of was replying like, you're crazy, like why would you say that, like sort of trying to make me feel like I was being out of order or something like that. And I was like, listen, it was just a joke. So we sort of had like a little tiff, and we didn't speak for a few days. And then on the Friday morning, my friend had messaged me and was like, oh, I saw your man out last night. And I was like, right, well, he's not my man, but okay. And he was like, yeah, are you two like exclusive? Like, are you like seeing other people? Like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, well, we aren't like boyfriend and girlfriend, but he can see other people if he wants. But he said to me that he just wants to see me. And my friend was like, oh right, because like I really hate to tell you this, but I saw him getting with a girl and leaving with her last night, and I was like, okay. So I kind of put myself in a predicament, because I couldn't be angry that he was sleeping with someone else, because we aren't committed to one another. So I think that's one thing that you definitely have to be prepared for, is that you don't have the right to be mad at someone over a situation that you have put yourself in. So you've obviously said that you aren't boyfriend and girlfriend, you're not committed, so that at the end of the day he can do what he wants, even if he's told you that he doesn't want to see anyone else, because someone's word can change like that. I was a bit miffed off, but so then I came back off holiday. I basically texted him and we ended up having a big argument, and because I was just saying like, listen, I don't appreciate being told this information when you had said to me that you just wanted to see me, because I wouldn't have been bothered otherwise, but now I feel like you've lied to me, because you've stated this thing and you've done the opposite of it. Yeah, it was a big mess. We ended up having a massive argument, and then some other things happened, like he had some beef with my friends, okay. So sorry for the background change, I just had to charge my camera because it ran out of battery. But I think where I was at was, he had some beef with my friends. I went out the following week, and I don't want to give that away actually, because it'll prove who he is. But I ended up bumping into him on the night out, and we hadn't spoken in about a week. And long story short, my friends were working at the club and they refused to let him in. So then he got banned from the club, and it was all just a big mess. And so the next day I'd text him saying, listen, like, what's going on? And he replied saying, I don't fuck with you, like, don't talk to me again, I don't want to talk to you. And I was like, listen, like, come on, we're friends now, like, we've been doing this for like a year, and you just want to end it over that. He was like, I've cut people off that I've been friends with for years, like, it doesn't mean anything to me. He was basically just really angry, and we had a massive argument. And then from then we didn't speak. He deleted me off Snapchat, he did all these things, and we didn't speak for about 6 weeks. So I was just getting on with my life. I honestly thought that I wouldn't never speak to him again, because I'm the kind of person, if you say to me, don't speak to me ever again, I will not speak to you ever again. Like, there's no point to be going back and forth with people. I was on holiday in Mexico, and he messaged me. He basically messaged me apologising, saying didn't go about the situation the right way, like, I just want to apologise and all these things. And so I was like, okay, but I still had a lot of anger towards the situation, so I was just like, okay, whatever. Apology accepted, and just ended it there. And then he texted me like a few days later saying like, what are you doing today? And I was like, I'm on holiday, like, I don't understand why you want to see me. Because I said, what do you want to talk about? And he said, oh, I just want to talk about everything and like give myself a chance to apologise to you. And I said, but you said there was nothing to talk about. So well, whatever. Anyway, when I came back from holiday, we ended up meeting up and chatting about everything, and that was fine. But I said to him, like, I don't want it to go back to how it was, because too much has happened now. There's no point getting back in a situation. And plus, we'd got to a place where one of us was gonna get our feelings hurt sooner or later, because we've been doing this situation for about a year without any commitment. So I know at the time I was okay, but if it had carried on, I would have got more deep feelings for him, because I think I didn't realise at the time that I had got feelings for him. Obviously, if you're seeing someone for a year, like, you talk every day, you're like best friends and all these things, you're going to get feelings for them. But it just all depends on how you deal with them feelings. I didn't want to get back in the situation, but we met up and talked about everything and smoothed it over, so it was fine. About a week later, he was like, oh, what are you doing today? Like, wanting to meet up again. And I was like, listen, I'm quite busy this week, so I'll text you next week and we'll do something. And he was like, okay. And to be honest, I shouldn't have been in that situation anyway. I shouldn't have been thinking that, because but I was enabling myself to get back in a comfortable and easy situation. But I texted him the week after saying, like, what are you doing today? And he texted me back saying, just to let you know, I'm now officially seeing someone. So yeah, and I was just like, oh, that's a bit funny because I didn't think you wanted a relationship. And he was like, oh, well, it all happened really quick and he now has a girlfriend. So yeah, but whilst all that was going on, about a few weeks later, I ended up going on a night out. And on the night out, I knew who his ex-girlfriend was just because of someone had told me that was his ex-girlfriend. And so I knew of her, I didn't know her personally, and he had spoke to me about her before. I saw her on a night out, and I don't know her personally, but I saw her from across the room and she was staring at me, like, really hard staring at me, and I just didn't do anything because I'm not a very confrontational person. So she was looking at me and I was just like, okay. So I just didn't do anything, but she was obviously talking to her friend about me. I just minded my business, and then I went out about a week or so later and she was there again in the same club. I was going to the toilets, so I'm walking up the hallway to the toilets and she was in the hallway and she just shouted across the hallway, "That's the girl that sucked my man's dick." And I was just like, pardon? I walked over to her and was like, listen, like, I obviously, I don't know you and I'm not trying to get in any confrontation with you, but I don't know why you have an issue with me. Like, I have no issue with you. And she's like, do you know, I don't know, let's call him like Broccoli. We'll call him Broccoli. She was like, do you know Broccoli? And I was like, yeah, I've been seeing him for like the past year. And she was like, what? And I was like, I've been seeing him. Like, she was like, have you had sex with him? I was like, yeah, like multiple times, like every week for a year. And she's like, what the, like, started getting really angry. And I was like, listen, I know you're his ex-girlfriend, but like, why are you so angry at me? I don't know what, like, I thought you were his ex. And she was like, no, we've still been seeing each other. Me and him have still been seeing each other, this, that and the other. And I was like, wow. So turns out, I mean, I'm never gonna know the full story, the truth of what was going on, but from what I can gather from her and from him, because I confronted him about it, they were going out like before me and him got together. They probably ended a couple months before me and him got together. And I think they had reconciled in the 6 weeks that me and him weren't talking. And I think maybe they were seeing each other for sex, like in between all that, when me and him were seeing each other. Yeah. So turns out me and his ex were both seeing him at the same time whilst he had a new girlfriend, which is all just great. And me and her had a big chat in the club, in the toilets, about all of these things. And she was just saying things that, like, asking me, like, oh, it's actually so bad. She was talking about his dad and like his pet and all these things, like, that she wouldn't have known unless that she was seeing him. So it all just made sense, and it was all just a sour situation. Me and him ended like that, so it ended pretty messy. And when me and him ended, I think that definitely taught me a lot about myself. I think from the time that me and him have ended, so from like September till now, I have learned so much, and I've definitely gained a lot more respect for myself, because I'm like, why should I be treated like that? I shouldn't be. I shouldn't allow anyone to like treat me like that. But I think when you get yourself in these friends with benefits situations, you sort of put yourself in a place where you can be treated like that, and you can't say anything about it because you don't have any say of what each other can do, because you're not committed to each other. I think when me and him were together, he was definitely someone that helped me with my body confidence, because I was already sort of going on that journey, but I think he really helped me. And I think I felt like I owed him something from that, because he was always telling me that it didn't matter what I look like and like my size, and that I'm a beautiful girl, so it really doesn't matter what I look like, and I shouldn't be insecure about my size. And he always made me feel comfortable with that without making me feel like I was a fetish or something like that. So he would always tell me like how beautiful I was, and basically be really nice to me. So I think he definitely helped me a lot with my body confidence. And he told me stories from like if his friends like knew about me, and they would like try and clown me or like make jokes about it, but he's the kind of person that would just shut them down and be like, well, I like her for who she is and I like her body and that's it. Whereas I know a lot of other boys wouldn't do that and wouldn't stand up to their friends and be the one to be like, I like plus size girls. When we had ended and me and his ex-girlfriend had got in that thing in the club, I remember her saying to me, oh well, he just told me that you sucked his dick and that you were a fat bitch and this, that and the other. And I was like, I just had to look at her and be like, because I knew his character and I knew the person he was, I knew he would never ever say anything like that about me. He had been the one to build me up and stand up to his friends when I wasn't there, and he always stood up for me when I wasn't there, like, and was always the one to shut people down who had anything negative to say about my body. So then when she said that to me, I knew that was definitely just coming from a place in her heart where she was pissed off that her ex-boyfriend or her man was now seeing a plus size girl. So I think that was just a low blow from her, whereas she was insecure and pissed off that he was getting with a bigger girl. So, but when she said that, I knew that, like, I'm a very, I don't believe things that people tell me straight away, and I think I definitely look at all sides of an argument before I make my decision. I'm just going to give you some advice, my tips on getting in situationships and friends with benefits situations. You're either friends or you're together, like you're either friends or you're having sex. You can't be both, because if you want to be best friends and talking every day, all day, and then you also want to have a romantic relationship with them, it's not going to mesh well. It worked okay for me for the time being, but if it went on any longer than it did, one of us was going to get hurt. So if you mix the friends and the sex, it's just going to become messy, because just pick what you are. You're either friends and you don't do anything and you talk, or you're just having sex. There really is no in between, because that's when all the bad things happen, in the in-between. So if you're just having sex with someone, then great, have that understanding with them, but don't try and force a friendship out of it as well. Just be nice to each other and be cool with each other, but you can't be talking every single day, meeting up for coffee and doing whatever, because it's not going to work. You're going to get feelings for each other and you're going to get attached to each other. Think of what you really want. Don't enter a friends with benefits situation if you want a relationship out of it, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be hoping you're that one person that ends up going out with someone from a friends with benefits situation, and you're probably not going to be. So then you're going to be upset and disheartened. So you just need to realise what you want. So when I entered this situation, I knew that I was in my final year of uni and I knew I needed to focus. So I knew I didn't want anything serious. But if you're a bit impartial, you don't know what you want, I think entering something like this is not that great for you, because it's never going to be what you want. You're never going to get that relationship that you want out of it, because it's always just going to be a situationship. Know what it is and be realistic with what you are doing. So don't think, oh, like, yeah, we're just having sex and whatever, but like we might get together. Like, if you said you're just having sex, that's what you're doing. So don't expect it to develop into a relationship, because like I said, it probably won't, and then you're probably going to be disheartened and upset and get your feelings hurt. So these are just like things to stop you from getting your feelings hurt. If you do get feelings for the other person, you have to let them know. Like, you can't be embarrassed about like letting them know that you like them, because if you like them and then you hold that in and don't tell them, then it's... Hello? If you get feelings, you have to let them know, because it's better to let them know and end the situation than continue with the situation knowing that you've got feelings and they're just going to get stronger and stronger, and that person either doesn't feel the same or doesn't know how you feel. You never know, you could tell them that you like them and they could be like, I like you too, let's get together. But like I said, don't hope on that. You just need to, if you get feelings, you have to let them know. And don't be scared about ending the situation. Like, you don't really have anything to lose. Like, so what if you and him or her end the situation? Because there's plenty more fish in the sea. There's definitely a lot more people that you can be involved with. So don't worry about being alone. Like, don't make that stop you from getting out of a situation that you don't want to be in anymore. The fear of being alone, because no, you don't need anyone to survive except yourself. Someone can have a change of heart. Like you aren't committed to each other, so they could turn around one day and be like, I don't want to be with you, and you just have to deal with that. So definitely get it in your head that you aren't committed to each other, so they can do what they want and you can do what you want, even though they might have said otherwise. Like I said in my story, that was illustrated well. So they might say one thing and then do another thing, and you just have to, I think you just have to prepare for that and know that might happen, so you're not as upset or hurt when it happens. I feel like I sound really negative, like, but I think it's just one of the things that you need to know, that sometimes people don't have your best interests at heart. If they don't respect you, then you just need to get rid. I think what makes these situations work so well is the respect that you have for each other. Obviously, the respect as in, say you're getting with other people that he won't get with someone else in front of you. That's just like a respect thing, because it's just rude. And especially when you're having sex with someone regularly anyway, you need to have that respect before you even sleep with them anyway, just because that's what you need from sex. Like, you can't have sex with someone that doesn't respect you and you don't feel comfortable with. That's the main thing, like respect and being comfortable with someone. This is just like a personal preference thing, but keeping it like quiet, not exactly hiding each other, but I think if you keep your relationships more private, more people won't get involved. So if everyone knows that you and someone are friends with benefits, then they're going to be asking questions. They're going to be like, don't you want to be with them? Like this, that and the other. Don't you have feelings for each other? There's just going to be so many unnecessary questions that then will make you question yourself. So try not to tell too many people, just like your close friends. And yeah, just have fun. Make sure you're getting in a situation with someone that you like and you're comfortable with, and you know what's going on in the situation, and you're not entering something that could potentially really hurt your feelings. So I think the main thing about making these kind of things work is just being wise and knowing the deal and knowing what you're getting yourself into. I think I'm going to do a second part to this video, sort of like a Q&A. So if you have any questions, make sure you follow me on Instagram and DM me, because I think I'm going to do a question video. So yeah, I hope this was somewhat informative and helpful for you guys. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.